What is going on, everyone? It is me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, and here's an interesting piece of news that I wanted to quickly cover because as a lawyer myself, this stuff really interests me. So I like to get into the midst of it and to see what's going on. And essentially, ZeniMax is being sued by a singer-songwriter, Dion DiMucci, for those Fallout 4 Wanderer ads. I don't know if you remember them, but I'm playing them in the background right now. I'm going to mute the video, of course, save me from copyright or content ID. But they're being sued for the use of the background track, The Wanderer, in these live action Fallout 4 promotions. And sorry, just a quick edit here, but I don't actually know whether Bethesda used the Wanderer song in any other commercials for Fallout 4. I thought that this song was only used for the live action one that I'm showing you in the background now, but it's possible that it was also used for ones with actual gameplay in it that did show all killings, etc. and stuff like that. I don't know whether that's true. Maybe in your own home country you saw those kinds of ads. Let me know in the comments below. Are there any on YouTube that you can link me to? But this is the only one that I can remember. Anyways, moving on. And if you want to check out the Wrap article that initially broke this news, I'll link it in the description below. But I'm going to be highlighting the main point. So essentially it says singer-songwriter Dion DiMucci has filed a suit against ZeniMax Media over the use of his classic song The Wanderer in ads for the video game, Fallout 4 that being, according to court papers obtained by the Wrap. In the lawsuit filed in the federal court in California, DiMucci says that he never signed off ZeniMax using The Wanderer for Fallout 4 ads, which the lawsuit calls repugnant. According to the suit, DiMucci entered an agreement via UMG Recordings to license the song for the Fallout 4 commercials. However, the suit says that under the agreement, DiMucci had the right to separately bargain with ZeniMax for a better rate, and to prohibit the use of a song unless his terms were met first. The suit says that ZeniMax failed to separately bargain with DiMucci and failed to obtain his advance consent before the commercials ran. The consent portion is important, the lawsuit says, because the Fallout 4 ads were objectionable due to their violence. The lawsuit reads that defendants' commercials were objectionable because they featured repeated homicides in a dark dystopian landscape where violence is glorified as sport. The killings and physical violence were not to protect innocent life, but instead were repugnant and morally indefensible images designed to appeal to young consumers. Had the terms of the licensing agreement been adhered to, the lawsuit contends, DiMucci could have used his right to refuse consent to persuade ZeniMax to change the script so that, for instance, they instead told the story of a post-apocalyptic struggle for survival without craven violence. Alternatively, he could have priced into his fee adequate compensation to safeguard himself against a potential loss of goodwill from being associated with the immoral images in the defendant's scripts, the suit adds. The Wrap has reached out to ZeniMax for comment. The suit seeks general damages in excess of $1 million. So, again, very interesting stuff here. I'm not going to say too much about it because we really don't know all the facts. We really don't until, we can actually read the contract itself, or the specific clause or clauses that DiMucci is referring to, that being that he had the right to separately bargain with ZeniMax for a better rate and to prohibit the use of the song unless his terms were met. Until we actually read that, we don't know what the result's going to be, and we don't know who's really in the right or wrong here. And my best guess is that this is going to be settled out of court. It seems like it's a monetary issue. I mean, all he's seeking here is general damages, and the commercials have been running for many years now. They've probably stopped, but they're still on YouTube, of course. So, it's probably redundant to try and get the contract itself terminated and try and get those ads pulled. There'd just be no use of that. So yeah, it's very interesting, and I just wanted to report this to all of you, just so you know what's going on. And I'll go into a little bit now as to what could happen in a court of law if this reaches a court of law. Now, let me tell you that my contract law is a bit hazy. I studied contract law many years ago, and I don't practice it in my profession as a lawyer. But nevertheless, what will happen is that if this goes to court, the court has to first look as to whether there's a valid contract. That's going to be a no-brainer. It's very obvious, it's very clear here that there was a valid contract. In fact, the contract went ahead, right? There was a valid licensing agreement here for the song to be used. More the question is whether ZeniMax complied with that specific term or terms that said that DiMucci had the right to separately bargain, etc. And really what the court's going to be doing there is interpreting that contractual clause and determining, one, whether it's considered as a condition or a warranty. A condition clause is essentially one that was so important then otherwise the contract never would have been formed in the first place, or whether it was a warranty clause where the clause itself was more incidental to the main purpose of the contract. In either instance, damages are a possibility. If it's a condition that's breached in terms of the clause, then the party actually has the right to completely terminate the agreement, the contract, and to actually sue for damages. Either way though, DiMucci simply wants general damages here, so it's not really going to matter fundamentally whether it's considered a condition or a warranty, unless the court decides to give other remedies. But let's say that DiMucci did want to get the actual ads pulled, and to have the contract itself terminated, that would be a key factor there, but we only see so far that he wants general damages, so it could be more, I don't know. And second, the court's going to be very closely looking and interpreting that particular clause to see what it means, you know, look at any definitions in the contract itself, look at the ordinary meaning of any other terms that aren't legally defined, and then come to a conclusion as to whether ZeniMax complied or not. And essentially, DiMucci is trying to sue for general damages here, or what is otherwise known as compensatory damages. They're meant to compensate the injured party, if you will, for any losses that resulted from the breach itself, to essentially put that party in the exact same position had the contract been properly complied with as it was intended according to the terms of the contract. And these are pretty much the most common form of damages in contractual breach cases. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Again, my best guess is that this is going to be settled out of court. It seems like DiMucci simply wants money for this, and it's probably going to be no use at this stage to take all the ads down and to terminate the contract. Although I'm trying to think if the song was used in the Pip-Boy. I think it was. Hold on, I want to Google this. Real time. Fallout 4 soundtrack Pip-Boy, or licensed soundtrack, whatever it is. We're gonna figure this shit out. All right. Oh, as a Spotify soundtrack, would you look at that, everyone? There's a Spotify soundtrack. Oh, I'm not gonna, God damn it, I want me to sign in. Come on, I'll figure this out. Where is it? Okay, I searched for something much better. Fallout 4 Diamond City Radio at playlist.net. I'll link that in the description below. And they tell me that The Wanderer by Dion and the Belmonts is actually in the Pip-Boy. It's on Diamond City Radio. So that will be interesting. I mean, this case could go to the conclusion that Dion wants the song removed from the actual game itself. And maybe it's not just necessarily about the actual ads, because the ads were kind of tame, but it's the game itself that's more violent. So yes, it'll be very interesting to see what happens here, whether the song is actually pulled from the game itself, whether the ads are taken down, or whether he's just going to be happy with damages, which it seems like he will be. Anyway, Sway Sanders, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. And until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.